trouble. I don't wanna get in trouble, but every time I hear you laugh, I get into trouble. Wicked, why you gotta be so wicked? And the moment that you caught my eyes, I'm in trouble. Forgive me for wanting, but I just can't think anymore. When I see you, I'm in trouble. So enchanted by you. Why you gotta be so cruel? No, you made my knees weak, my heart stopped a beat. I still want you. Forgive me for wanting, but I just can't think anymore. When I see you, I'm in trouble. So enchanted by you. Trouble, I don't wanna get in trouble. Trouble, I don't wanna get in trouble. Trouble, trouble. Trouble, I don't wanna get in trouble, but every time I hear you laugh, I get into trouble. Wicked, why you gotta be so wicked? And the moment that you caught my eyes, I'm in trouble. Forgive me for wanting, but I just can't think anymore. When I see you, I'm in trouble. So enchanted by you. Why you gotta be so cruel? No, you made my knees weak, my heart stopped a beat. I still want you. Forgive me for wanting, but I just can't think anymore. When I see you, I'm in trouble. So enchanted by you. Trouble, I don't wanna get in trouble. Trouble, I don't wanna get in trouble. Trouble.
I really don't feel good like this. I'm getting a lot.
Is anyone here? What did you find? You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.
Yay! Hello, hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of On the Fringe, and we've got an amazing episode for you guys today. And it is going to be part two of Aliens, which you have requested to be alien abductions.
Well, I mean, they didn't really, they didn't really choose. I just kind of picked it, but because
What?
we felt, I mean, I picked it because we felt that last week we didn't really have much time to talk about, aliens and all that sort of stuff. So we decided that we might have just this one episode to, go a little bit more in depth and, you know, just kind of go through what whatever what there is, right? So, oh, right. Let me see. Let me change my audio is being weird again. Bill, why don't you tell them about like what you were just telling before this?
Oh, yeah. So I kept on smelling like cakes, like sweet cakes,
Yeah.
in my room, even though there's no cakes around.
Yeah, I don't know what, but I think your house is haunted. I mean,
Like,
we've
and we've
talked
had the
about this a
same
few times.
static problem again, where I've used the same mic from last Friday to for today, and it's just staticking like crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I'm not using the mic,
we
Kim.
it's weird because he's using the same thing on Friday, like when we were on the show last week, but he wasn't having any issues then. And it was kind of weird. Like you have more issues on the Fringe on Wednesday nights. I don't know, something strange.
Yeah, it's just yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I
Saying
don't
hi to
know.
some
The
people.
show
Oh,
must go on as long as you
the
can
show
hear
must
me.
go
Then it's
on.
fine.
Lincoln's around. We have Kimmy Black. We have Joe. What's up, JDC? Thanks for tuning in. We have Finn. Finn's always on. Carlos Cole. Nice to see you. Yes, this is actually a part two. We don't know. There might be a part three at some point someday. You know.
There
And
has
on
to be one. There has to be
yeah,
one.
on YouTube we have Orange Freak. We have the Clerk. We have Frankie Aber. And yeah, we have Meow. Meow. Okay, Meow. That's hi Meow. That's interesting.
God damn it! The fairies are censoring me again. God
Yeah,
damn it!
it must be all your conspiracy theories. It's freaking them out. So, before we start today's episode, we actually just got someone on the team. He doesn't want to be known just yet, but we do have a secret anonymous researcher who helps us sort of get the stuff that we need to show you guys for the episodes. Gives us a good case that maybe like what you guys want to hear about. So today's gonna be interesting. We're gonna really push it up. And I think there's a lot of stuff that we may not be able to cover because our anonymous researcher might have done too good of a job. There's a lot of stuff we wanna cover, but we don't want to skimp that out on everybody as well. The researcher from Discord, maybe if you're on your Discord, you may know him. I think he goes by a few names though. I mean, we know his actual name now. He goes by a different name on YouTube and on Discord. I think it's something else. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But we will keep that person anonymous as per their request. And yeah, I think we'll get into the meat and potatoes and get right to it then.
Yeah,
I am drinking Heineken again, and for a second I'm drinking Kirin.
you know what?
It is
Kieran's actually pretty good. I forgot to get a beer, but you know what? I have water. I have water. Water is good for a Wednesday night.
uh,
It's a good drink to have for Wednesday.
yeah.
Yes, Ivan. Today, I'm a bit relaxed. It's been a long day. It's been a long week, so we just chill out tonight. We have it easy. Take it easy every Wednesday night. It's kind of just a sit down, get together, and talk and chill and drink. I mean, today's less drinking, but we'll get to the meat and potatoes, like Bill said. So today, as the title may have suggested, we're talking about alien abductions. So alien
Yeah.
abductions, I think they're quite okay. They're not common, but every time someone talks about aliens, it always comes up that there is these people who, at some point in their life, have been abducted by
Yeah,
aliens.
I would say there's quite a few people that have experienced something like an alien abduction, or at least like an alien abduction attempt.
Have
So,
you?
like,
Just
I
curious.
have not, I have
Yeah,
not,
okay, that makes
but
two of us.
while I was researching this, there was a statistic thrown about where it's something like 3+ million people worldwide claim to have like been abducted by aliens and have seen very similar things.
3 million.
Yeah,
Jesus, that's a lot of people, man.
yeah. So
So,
it is quite a phenomenon, and I would hope that people don't ignore that because I don't know, man. Like 3 million people, that's enough to vote somebody into presidency.
well, I mean, if you put it that way, yes, I would agree. I'm not sure if actually, maybe our researcher can actually chime in, but I'm not sure if there's any abductions in Singapore before. That'd be interesting to see and kind of. I think, well, I don't know. Maybe there is. I feel like I've heard a story before, something very similar, but I'm not too sure. But let me introduce you thing that we, the first thing that we have, right? So the first thing that we have, or the first story, actually comes from Brazil. See, this guy's name, his name is Antonio Villas Boas. He was a Brazilian farmer way back in the early or the mid 90s. Um, he was later a lawyer who was claimed to be abducted by extraterrestrials in 1957. Um, he kind of became the person who also started collecting these stories and corroborating stuff between other people, all these kind of different stories. So it's quite interesting that even early, way back when in Brazil, you have these kind of stories. Um, now we'll go into it a little bit. Is it a hoax or not? It really depends how you see. Like based on the stuff that he saw, and I mean, there's a lot of evidence which I'll share in a bit. It does seem like he's onto something. So I don't know. So at the time of his abduction, he was actually a 23-year-old farmer who was working at night to avoid the heat of the day. And in October 16th, 1957, he was plowing the fields when he saw what he described as a red star in the night. I think a lot of people actually start that. And what he then saw was actually a UFO, or what claims to be a UFO. It approached and grew in size until it became recognizable as a roughly circular to egg-shaped aerial craft with a red light in the front and rotating lights at the top. Now the craft started to descend onto his land and extended three legs to the ground. And as it did so, uh, he basically did the smart thing I think anyone in their right mind would do, is to freak the fuck out and run, because that's what
Oh,
I'm going. So as he ran, uh, he when he ran, basically the light and the engines on his tractor died, which is very timely. It sounds like some horror movie shit. Like, in the middle of running away from something, suddenly all these things come up, or you trip, or the door closes, or the doors lock. Sounds
just
really,
saying, right? A tractor is damn slow.
yeah, I know.
It's not
I don't
much of
really
a
know.
getaway vehicle.
I don't really know why he decided to go with a tractor, but I guess it's better than on foot, right?
I think it is worse. I think you'd be better off running.
Yeah, that 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 is true. I mean, a tractor isn't the fastest thing you could have gotten. I mean, a horse could be anything better. You could jump on a cow and slap its ass and whoop, let's go, rodeo.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, the tractor ain't that fast. So as I continue, yeah, the engine died after traveling like a couple meters away, and he started to run, haul ass. But then he was seized by these 5 foot tall humanoids who were wearing gray overalls and a helmet. He actually kind of describes it, or well, there is pictures that he kind of show. Let me pull that up. So yeah, these dudes wearing a helmet, their eyes were small and blue, and instead of speech, it made like a barking or a yelping noise, which is fucking strange. This is Chupacabra number 2. I mean,
Jeez, yeah, it
it's a
is.
bit
It
weird,
is.
right?
Are you sure these are actual aliens, or they look just kind of like
Well, I mean, that's the
people?
whole thing with
People.
aliens, right? Like, a lot of people, there's so many descriptions of what aliens are. People say they're humanoid looking things with just slight differences. I mean, this kind of, I don't know, like this yeah, I don't know what, if I saw this on the, if I saw it in the middle of a field in the middle of Brazil too, I'd be like, okay, something's fucking weird.
I'd be more concerned that this is probably some weird government like hazmat team going like, "Hey, get off my farm! What are you doing?"
I mean, it is fucking strange. So, I mean, as they were trying to pull him away, there was only one of them managed to catch him, and then three other ones joined the force to sort of subdue him and dragged him into their craft. So as he got onto the craft, what he said is he was stripped of his clothes and covered from head to toe with some kind of strange gel. Now, I love the sound of that because it kind of sounds
Okay,
like
it's not a gel; it's a lubricant.
well, maybe it was KY, we don't know, right? But he said it was a gel, some strange gel, probably lube. I mean, we know what aliens like to do when they abduct us.
Always
So
with the probing. Then again, we do that to animals as well, so I guess.
yeah, we do. We have done it to alien. Oh well, not aliens. Jesus Christ. What I meant to say is we do it to
A lot of
animals. And
animals.
when we're trying to, when we're just trying to check if they're pregnant and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, it's a lot of like probing. It is literal probing.
Yeah, I'm trying to be PG, but I realize I cussed a few times already, so that's out of
This
the
show was
question.
never designed to be PG.
Yeah, actually, funny thing, our anonymous researcher said there are a lot of stuff that was actually that he wanted to send us, but it wasn't PG and it wasn't safe for work. So maybe
Oh,
maybe next time, right? Maybe next time. So yeah,
maybe you
what
could
she
make a new
said,
show, like not safe for work on the Fringe.
it's like a oh my god, actually that's an idea right there. Send, yeah, well, the clerk says that he wants it, so maybe we should put it on our Discord and then you guys can check it out there. That does make sense. So anyway, after he was covered in that mysterious KY jelly, uh, he was then led to a large semicircle room through a doorway that had strange lights or strange red symbols written all over them. And he claimed that he was able to memorize these symbols and later reproduce them for investigators. In this room, the beings took samples of his blood from his chin, which is fucking weird place to get some blood, man.
Is there even a vein in the chin, like an artery?
I mean, that's kind of the worst place to get good blood, like for
That's
sure. Dude,
weird.
he's a farmer, right? He's probably vascular as fuck. Like he has some muscles on his arms, so I don't see why they didn't just go for the arms. I mean, like, I'm assuming these aliens
Why
are
don't they
supposed
just
to
go
be
for the?
smart.
It's so weird. Why did they
Were you
go
gonna
for the
say the
chin?
Were you gonna say the jugular?
No, I was thinking like I mean they have his arms, just like you know, take some blood
Yeah, you
from
could
his
have just gone for
arms.
the arms. I don't know. It didn't make sense. It was kind of
Ugh.
strange. You go for the chin. Of all places, that's fucking weird. So after they
Wait,
took this,
wait, wait. Are
okay.
you gonna tell me that like he had like a mark on his chin that looked like a hickey, and that this is why he explained it to his wife?
I don't know. You didn't really say if he was married at that time. Huh. This could have all been fabricated. Maybe he was actually just out cheating with somebody, realized he had a hickey or some weird shit on his chin, and then like, oh, you know what, babe, I got abducted by aliens last night. I don't want you to be suspicious or anything, but that's why I'm covered in KY. You know, it's a strange time.
I
So
think we've stumbled onto something here, Matt. But go on, go on.
uh okay, after that, he was taken to a third room where he was left alone for about an hour and a half. And during this time, some gas was pumped into the room, which made him vicious or violently ill. Shortly after this, he claimed that he was joined into the room by another humanoid. However, this time, instead of it being a dude, it wasn't a female alien or humanoid. See,
How
now
does
this
he
story
know?
just, I, I don't know, bro.
Are there boobs?
I'm assuming it's that's a good question. I don't know if there's boobs, but this story's kind of getting a bit, just a bit. I wouldn't say kinky, but it kind of is going back to our original theory that maybe he was just cheating on his whoever, right? So, okay, it was a female. very attractive and naked. Okay, this is starting to get weird. Um, she was the same height as the others that he encountered, with a small pointed chin and large blue cat-like eyes, hair on the head which is long and white, somewhat like platinum blonde. But her underarms and pubic hair were bright red. Okay, that's some details, man. Holy shit.
Whoa. Okay. That's
That's some crazy details, my guy. Well, then again, if somebody walked in and you're attracted to them, and you saw this like sexy alien thing, and then you're like, oh shit, never gonna forget this moment ever again. I mean, what would you do?
I would be more so just like absolutely just like, why did you take blood from my chin? Why did you cover me in lube? And
KY,
why did you
KY.
make me like more angry than I am with gas?
Well, no, he was sick. He fell sick.
Oh, why did you make me sick from gas if you
Fair
wanted
enough.
me to do the deed? I don't know about you, but after like puking up, I don't feel like doing the deed.
Okay, so that's maybe like a normal human, because right after this, the dude said he was strongly attracted to the woman, open inverted commas, and the two had sex. During this act, he noted that the female did not kiss him, but instead, what nipped him on the chin. That's that's some kinky that's some
Nipped
kinky
it
shit.
on the chin again. Oh my gosh. Oh my
I don't know. It's the
gosh.
blood, maybe. Maybe this is like an alien vampire or some shit. But that's
But they already took the blood from the chin.
yeah. Well, maybe that's how aliens have sex. I don't know, with their chins, I guess. I mean, he didn't know. Okay, the weird thing is, I'm looking at everything here. He didn't say anything about the genitalia. Like, she didn't say if she had boobs or like normal hardware down there. But it's kind of weird. Kind of, it's just some kinky ass story.
It's so
I dig it.
sus.
It's weird. It does sound like a. Elaine says it sounds like a fantasy of the farmer.
It
Well,
literally sounds like
it sounds like, honestly, it sounds like a wet dream.
it doesn't sound like wet dream to me. It just sounds like an excuse for him, like that he was cheating on his wife or something, and he's got like
Yes.
hickeys all over his all over his chin, and he's got like lube somewhere.
Okay, so let me continue, because it kind of gets weird, or weirder, right? So when it was all over, the female smiled at him and rubbed her belly and gestured upwards. I'm guessing something like rubbing your belly and pointing up to fucking I don't know what. He took that as a meaning as he was going to raise their child in space. Okay, brother, that's weird. The female seemed relieved that their task was over, and he himself said that he felt angered by the situation, but he felt as though he had been a little more than a good stallion for the humanoids. Oh, so he just felt like basically he was the sperm bank.
Yeah.
That's fucking strange. So he said that he was then given back his clothes, taken on a tour of the ship with the humanoids, and during this tour, he said that he attempted to take like a clock-like device as proof of his encounter, but was caught by the humanoids and prevented him from doing so. He was then escorted off the ship and watched it as it took off, growing brightly. When he returned home, he discovered that only 4 hours had passed.
I'm
This-
just kind of like, okay, like this is not my forte, but I'm very skeptical at this because I'm just like, excuse me, if you'd like to do the deed with me, you need to wine and dine me first. So take me on the tour first before we get to the blood taking and the experimentation.
Dude, I mean, they didn't even give him dinner, dude. They made him run. They
Yeah.
made him like cardio
They
first.
didn't
Maybe
even
that was
like
their
they
plan.
didn't even like drop him off at his home.
Well, they kind of did. I mean, they
No,
dropped
they
him off on a
didn't. It's a
farm.
farm, dude. This farm could be
Maybe he
like,
lives on the maybe he
several
lives on the
acres
farm.
away.
Yeah, maybe he lives on the farm. I mean, I'm assuming he does.
No. A farm is massive. He could be working the fields, and he could be like 2 or 3 acres away from his actual home on the farm.
Yo, it's funny. Yeah, like Jill Chunks, she said, well, no child support at least. That's true. That's actually really accurate. Like,
No,
good luck.
because we don't know that. There might actually be child support, but it's other ways.
Yeah, but yeah, this is like this again. It's like Alien Tinder, man. It's like they just picked him out, literally just some random dude in the middle of a farm, and here we go. Yeah, for all we know, he could have been smoking some funny stuff, funny grass, or
Like
some magic mushrooms.
this is crazy. This is like,
It's actually
oh
funny
my god,
because
this is so weird.
I'm
Like,
supposed to be the skeptic, right, between the two of us.
yeah.
But it's even harder because you don't believe in this, which is great. This is hilarious. I mean, I feel
No,
like you're
because it's so like, okay, for an alien species to just go out there and just like physically take somebody, it would be like if we as a human suddenly were like, that chimp over there, I'm gonna take that chimp, and then we wrestle that chimp to the ground and just take him back. Like,
I,
what?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like okay, to some degree, I feel like they probably had to be smarter than that, right? Or because this is Brazil. What if it's just like the mafia? I don't know why the mafia is wearing this random ass hood and a weird get up, some gimp suit made out of God knows what material. But it is a bit strange that they went through the effort of physical work to get this guy.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. It's just real weird. I genuinely think that maybe I think it may have been an abduction, a genuine abduction, but not the alien kind, but just the human kind.
Yeah,
And
well,
he has
I mean
been
it is
very
more.
heavily traumatized.
Yeah, it is a bit funny because like apparently this is really well documented and researched, or at least people have investigated like the events, right? um Even like after the whole thing, he claimed to have suffered from nausea, weakness, as well as headaches and lesions on the skin, which appeared without any kind of light bruising, which is okay. That's fine. You could just get nicked and then kind of bleed. Eventually, he contacted a journalist who had placed an ad in the newspaper looking for people who had experiences with UFOs as well. After that, the the journalist contacted this doctor from the National School of Medicines of Brazil, who was also contacted with other UFO groups before. He examined the farm and concluded that he had been exposed to a large dose of radiation, and from some sources, and was now suffering from mild radiation sickness, which I guess kind of makes explains his what's it called, the symptoms that he's having, right? It makes a bit of sense because if you do get radiation sickness, that's kind of the things you go through. And where in the hell in the middle of a farm are you going to get radiation sickness?
No, that's
You
the
know what I
thing,
mean?
right? I don't get it. It's like, all right, you want the guy to breed with you, so you're gonna take his blood first and then spray him with radiation, which, by the way, is real bad for reproductive cycles.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Well,
It's
but
real bad.
maybe they didn't spray him, but like because this is a giant
They
metal.
gassed him. Like, that
Well,
sounds like radiation sickness to me.
I mean, you don't never know. It could be some poison gas or some shit.
Why would they poison the man that's gonna like have like the do the deed?
Bro, I don't know
Gonna
what
do the
kind of
stud.
I don't. Yeah, well, that's true, but I don't know what kind of reproductive cycles. What aliens do for foreplay and stuff. Maybe that's just a normal transition. Like it's like having a cigarette after you have sex, except this is before, and you get sick if you're a human.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah, it's a bit funky.
it's
This.
very funky, very funky. I highly, I don't know, like it's I don't know what to say with this. It's one of those things which I am very very suspicious of.
I kind of want to
Um,
know. Like, I mean, okay, just so everyone's clear, uh, this dude's dead. Like he died. He died in 1991.
all right, he at least lived a long life, a
Oh
long-ish
yeah,
life.
dude. Not he had family, man.
Yeah.
It's funny because I can't find anything. Okay, he later became a lawyer, married, had 4 children. Stuck to the story. of his abduction for his entire life. Though some sources said he died in 1992, she died in 1991. Now I'm curious, what did the kids think? I mean, how did they? If this dude actually had radiation poison, in it, right? How the hell he have kids? And how did the kids
You
turn out
can
normal?
still have kids, but
Well, I
then
mean, I know you can, but I kind of wish they kind of wrote a bit more like how the hell he died. Because if it was more linked to radiation poisoning, then it maybe make some more sense. Like maybe put some more plausibility to this story.
well, considering he had 4 kids, it would mean that he's still quite like healthy, and it's just like, I don't get these aliens.
Frankie says there will be shrinking involved, and I'm yeah, I believe so too. You know,
I mean, what weird like. I guess this was in the 20s, so I guess it was like aliens just being like weird aliens.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of weird. I was gonna say kinks to this story because yeah, this story is actually pretty kinky. But yeah, it's a lot of weird turns and twists and stuff that makes it kind of like, did that really happen?
Yeah, this
Like
is
if I met
very.
someone on the street and they told me this story, I'd be like, bro,
Had sex with aliens.
what the fuck are you smoking, dude? That's some good shit. The clerk says, "Is this a story from your anonymous researcher's adult novel collection?" No, well, no, it's actually pretty well documented from the. I mean, from what I can actually see, like this story actually went pretty big, and okay, we gotta cut the time a bit on this story because we have
Yeah,
a few
yep,
more coming,
yep.
but we will get back to this idea of aliens having humanoid babies because it's a pretty interesting
Yeah, it's there's a
concept.
lot of like historical context associated with this, but yeah, let's head on to our second story, which is gonna be about the Barney and Betty Hill case, wherein um hmm so basically the couple claimed from September 19th to 20th 1961 that they were abducted by aliens, and the encounter, according to a variety of reports given by the Hills, the alleged UFO sightings happened about at 10:30 p.m. The Hills were driving back to Portsmouth from vacation in Niagara Falls and Montreal, just south of Lancaster, New Hampshire. Betty claimed to have observed a bright point of light in the sky that moved from below the moon and the planet Jupiter up upward to the west of the moon. While Barney navigated US Route 3, Betty reasoned that she was observing a falling star, only it moved upward. Because it moved erratically and grew bigger and brighter, Betty urged Barney to stop the car for a closer look and walk their dog. Uh, Delcy Barney stopped at a scenic picnic area just south of Twin Mountain. Betty looked through the binoculars, observed an odd shape, craft flashing multicolored lights travel across the face of the moon. Because her sister had several years earlier said she had seen a flying saucer, Betty thought it might be what she was observing. Through binoculars, Barney observed what he reasoned was a commercial airliner traveling towards Vermont on his way to Montreal. However, he soon changed his mind because without looking as if it had turned, the craft rapidly descended in his direction. This observation caused Barney to realize this object that was a plane was not a plane. They quickly returned to the car and drove towards Franconia Notch, a narrow mountainous stretch of the road. The Hills said they continued driving on the isolate road, moving very slowly through the Francia North in order to observe the object as it came even closer. At one point, the object passed above a restaurant and signal tower on top of Cannon Mountain and came out near the old man of the mountain. Betty testified that it was at least 1.5 times the length of the granite cliff profile, which was 40 feet, 12 meters long, and that it seemed to be rotating. The couple watched as the silent illuminated craft moved erratically and bounced back and forth in the sky. About about 1 mile south of Indian Head, they said the object rapidly descended towards their vehicle, causing Barney to stop in the middle of the highway. The huge silent craft hovered about 80 to 100 feet, 24 to 30 meters above the hills, and filled the entire view in the windshield. It reminded Barney of a huge pancake carrying his pistol in his pocket.
Ah, what a
He
guy.
stepped away from the vehicle and moved close to the object. Using the binoculars, Barney claimed to have seen 8 to 11 humanoid figures who were peering out the craft window, seemingly looking at him in unison at all by one figure move. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. What's black uniforms and black. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
mean,
gonna stop reading there, and
it's funny because this is a very American story. Like,
yeah,
there was pancakes involved, there was a pistol and a gun.
I mean there was a gun. I mean it goes on to describe the uniform of the aliens, which were caped or black and caped. Um, so I believe this is more so real. Um, just because it is. It's a little bit more believable than the previous story, than the previous sex story, I'd say.
Yeah,
But also, it is a little bit more reminiscent of a like what the Clixie says. It is a like it sounds like a government stop, like a police stop.
yeah. There. The clerk also, to answer your question. No sex in this story, unfortunately.
No, no sex in the story. No, 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 no sex.
I mean, the story gets a little bit more interesting in the sense that, um, okay, right after where Bill left off, right, Barney was looking at the binoculars from his eyes, ran back to his car, and told Betty, said, "They're gonna catch us." That was my best American. I mean, I already speak kind of like with an American accent, but that was as good as it's gonna get. Um, saw the object again, and it shifts location to be directly above the car. So that's kind of like scary. And then as he drove away as fast as he could, he told Betty to look for the object. She rolled down the window, sticked her head out, and looked up. And immediately, the Hills heard this rhythmic like series of beeping and buzzing sounds, which they said seemed to bounce off the truck of the vehicle. The car vibrated, and a tingling sensation passed through their bodies. The Hill said that it was then that they experienced some sense of an onset of an altered state of consciousness, and that their minds were kind of dulled. That left their minds kind of dulled. They found that they had traveled nearly 35 miles or 56 kilometers south, but only had a vague, like spotty memory of the section of the road. They recall making a sudden, sharp, unplanned turn, encountering a roadblock,
Hmm.
which is where they observed the fiery orb on the road. So it's a, it's kind of, it does sound like, you want to say like maybe he's tired, maybe they've been tripping balls. This is when
I
again
don't think it's a tripping ball story, just
they
because it's a.
let's
I don't
see.
know. Like there is no reason for them to be
Okay,
tripping balls, just
this was
because
in
it.
1961. So again, if you think about it in the context of time and everything that was going on in that time frame, right? y- It's, could it be people being extra sensitive, because I think that was a period of time where a lot of these UFO stories were kind of spiking, and it's just maybe they were oversensitive about it. I mean, again, she did say that her sister or something. Her sister said that they had seen like a
Hmm,
flying saucer before, and what did you say something about Barney also saying that he'd seen something similar, right?
yeah.
So c- as okay, compared to the earlier story, this is definitely more believable, right? But could it be just also, I don't know, they just saw something and they kind of freaked out before realizing what it was? Maybe it was just a plane, maybe it was a, I don't know, searchlight from a helicopter,
Again, like
whatever.
that's the weird thing because they spent so much time observing this object, and they did spend a considerable amount of time like looking and observing and actually seeing it. Like usually trips are not that vivid unless they're really really bad trips, and at
Are you
that
speaking
point you
from
wouldn't be moving.
experience? Are you speaking from experience? Because if you are, I, as your friend, I would recommend you to not say anything at this point.
No, it wasn't in this country. It's fine.
Don't do drugs, kids.
So yeah, it's one of those things which is just like it's too vivid. It's too accurate, and they spent too much time like actually looking at the physical objects and also the entities inside. Um,
Yeah.
to have that kind of experience, to me, sounds like sounds like almost like an intergalactic traffic stop in a weird way.
Dude, wasn't there a movie like that? I forgot. It wasn't Paul, it was something. Well, it was a book. I can't remember. But yeah, it does sound like they were just stopping them for shits and giggles. And okay, so I mean, again,
So
this gets a bit more
like
cluttered.
the weird shaking beam thing, that like beeping beam, um, sounds a little bit like a taser.
So they tased their car.
Yeah, it
Right.
sounds a little bit like a taser, and quite frankly, I think I would be like 30 minutes no memory if I was tased.
I mean, okay, so like to deal with that whole tasing thing, right? After arriving home from at about dawn, the Hills asserted that they had some odd sensations and impulses that they could not readily explain. Betty insisted that the luggage that were kept in the back of the that were kept near the back door rather than in the main part of the house because of some reason they didn't really explain. Their watches would never work again. Barney said that the leather straps on the binoculars were torn, though he couldn't recall it tearing. The toes of her best dress shoes were scrapped, and Barney said he was also compelled to examine his genitals in the room. Again, this story, I mean, stories of genitals, great. But he found nothing unusual. They took a long shower, possibly to remove any possible contamination, and then drew a picture of what they each observed. And that was the two pictures that I showed previously. So
Hmm.
the one of the UFO, and then one of the later picture of the actual alien, right? So perplexed, they said that they tried to reconstruct the chronological event of what actually happened and the drive home, but immediately after they heard the buzzing noise, their memory just basically got wiped. After sleeping for about a few hours, Betty woke up and placed the shoes and the clothing that she had worn during the drive into her closet, observing that the dress was actually torn at the seams or at the hem.
Oh,
Um, so, there's some physical. Okay, I'm gonna pause there for a sec. Now, is it really that this actually happened due to aliens? I mean, a lot of the stuff that they were saying can kind of be explained, especially if you're in a panic, right? Like you're not gonna like you're freaking out the whole time you're running away. Things can be a sudden blur. You could just be like, "Oh shit, fuck, I forget," and you're just too busy running away trying to save your life. And even things like the binocular strap, dude, you were staring at it like for a while, it seems. Maybe you could have just like, oh shit, when he bolted it back to the car, like, oh shit, we gotta go. Ran in, tore it along the way. Even his shoes, like, dude, you were freaking out. So maybe that could have been something. The weird thing, the only thing that I found that's a bit weird is that both their watches kind of never worked again.
yeah, I find it like a bit. mm, like again, this seems a lot like a kind of non-invasive stop, like
Yeah,
in
I
a
mean,
way.
it's not an abduction per se, but it's I guess an encounter more than an abduction.
It could possibly be an abduction, but they were very polite about it. So
They were just like,
it's
"We'll take you for 2 seconds. We'll just check your genitals. Okay, cool, bye." Phew.
I think it's more so like
At
so
least he didn't. At
these
least he wasn't milk.
aliens were described to have like uniforms,
Yeah,
actual like uniforms with like mostly like black and with capes and stuff like that. So that's probably one of the few aliens that have been reported to be what we would consider a little bit more militaristic, I suppose.
yeah, to some
Yeah.
degree. I mean, it does
So
sound
I
like.
would think that this is probably some sort of like alien government entity that just
Yeah,
wanted to
it
stop these people. And
like the sense that I got when they were saying that the lights sort of blurred them and kind of made them forget what they were doing. It
Hmm.
kind of sounds like the Men in Black, you know, with
Yeah.
that whole thing that they flash. It's kind of sounds like that.
Yep. 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 So that's my reasoning for it. Like, this is probably some sort of like, alien organization that like just wanted to stop these people for like some sort of like routine checkup, and so they didn't want to like
No probing
traumatize the
involved.
hell out of these people.
No probing involved.
I don't know. Maybe there was probing, but they were kind enough to erase those memories and go like, "Hey, don't remember this,"
Yeah.
which is a damn sight like better than what we've done with animals that we've probed as humans.
Dude. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, even like the dress that I mean, you see this picture of the dress. Now this dress is actually still around. You can actually go and see it in the US. But yeah, she was saying how there was like this pinkish powder on the dress, and she hung the dress on a clothesline, and the powder blew away, but the dress was basically permanently damaged. Now, over the years, 5 labs have actually conducted chemical and forensic analysis on them. Now, there were shiny concentric circles on the car's trunk as well that had not been there the previous day. So, you know, this story is a bit more, I want to say, factual or believable than the one before, because, you know, there's a lot of evidence that
Yep.
isn't just, oh, like maybe a hickey on the chin.
Yeah, and this is much more. There's a lot more physical evidence. Correct. There's a lot more. There's a second eyewitness involved,
Hmm.
and also there is physical evidence on the car. Not sure what happened to the dog, but the watches are an interesting detail because not many things would stop a watch like that.
Yeah, it's a bit. That's the one thing which is kind of like, okay, why so sudden? Like both your watches aren't working anymore. Like if you said like one watch, it could just be up to chance. Like, maybe the watch just died, and you know, could have been. But both of them, yeah, that's a bit sus. You know what I mean? Yeah,
So
Elaine actually says like a strong magnetic
yeah,
field, which
yep.
yeah, it could make sense.
So remember, in the 1960s, these watches would be like wind up, or like those wind up watches.
Yeah,
So
I
I
mean that's what
think
Jill
what
said
they
as
meant
well.
to say was that they wouldn't be able to wind up again. Like no matter, like they were not working at all. They were broken.
Yeah. So this is the actually my favorite piece of evidence, actually what comes next. And that's actually the fact that after a while, Betty started having dreams or a series of dreams that actually happened for 5 consecutive nights. Um, Never in her memory had she recalled dreams in such detail and intensity, but after the 5 nights, it kind of stopped. So what she actually do is she decided to draw it out, and when she started basically trying to note down the details of her dream, um, in one dream, she said that Barney and her encountered a roadblock, and the man who was surrounding the car, oh, men started to surround the car. She lost consciousness but struggled to regain it, and then realized that she was being forced by 2 small men to walk in the forest at night, and seeing Barney walk behind her. Though
Oh,
when she called out to him, she seemed to be in a trance or sleepwalking. The men stood about 5 feet to yeah, about 5 feet tall, and wore matching blue uniforms with caps similar to those that were being worn by military cadets. They appeared to be nearly human with black hair, green eyes. Oh, black hair, dark eyes, prominent noses, and bushy lips, or bluish lips. The skin was a grayish tone. In the dreams, she also the men and them basically walked up a ramp of this dish-shaped object with a metallic appearance. Once inside, they separated, and she protested and was told by the man that was called the leader, and that they wanted to be examined together, which was, I guess that's cute for old people. So it took much to basically conduct the exams, and then they were taken back to separate rooms. But he then dreamt that a new man, similar to the others, entered to conduct the exam with the leader. Betty called this man the examiner, and she said that he was pleasant, calm, and calm mannered. Though the leader and the examiner spoke to her in English, the examiner's command of the language seemed imperfect, and she had difficulty understanding him. So, there's some facts to it. It's.
Hmm.
I guess there's a level of abduction, you know.
Yeah, but
So
they kind of went there willingly.
willingly, maybe it was a setup. Maybe like the first time they got together, it was kind of like a um, the prerequisite. They were like checking them out, like, oh, maybe these people, maybe we'll use them later. Stun gun, bam, hit them, and then like now they're susceptible to hypnosis, which is also what Elaine Chua said. It does sound a bit sus in that direction. So the examiner told Betty that he would conduct a few tests to note the differences between the humans and the craft's occupants. He seated on a chair, and a bright light was shown onto her. The man cut off locks of her hair and examined her ears, eyes, mouth, teeth, and all the jazz. He saved trimmings of her fingernails. After examining her legs and feet, the man used a dull knife, similar to a letter opener, to scrape some skin off of into what resembled cellophane, and then
Hmm.
tested her nervous system and thrusted a needle into her navel belly button, which caused Betty agonizing pain. Which, upon the leader waved his hand in front of her eyes to make the pain disappear. So this it's getting there. It's a bit more graphic than the one before.
Yeah, yeah. This is a much more invasive, like, examination.
I mean, it's super cool that the leader just did yeah, and then the pain was gone. So maybe there's some facts to the whole hypnosis thing. Maybe these aliens actually got some techniques or technology to, I don't know, hypnotize somebody, right?
Maybe they're slightly telepathic, so that they don't really. The whole mind of a matter thing. How some people can block off enough pain to just go through like a root canal without any anesthesia.
Hmm. You mean like
Maybe
how
it's like that. Maybe it's like
some
that.
yeah, it could be, but I mean, the fact that I don't know if again, this is ramblings of a lady who this was a dream, right? You don't know what actually happened, but her story is just really vivid and like it goes through a lot of detail about. I mean, I can probably throw you one dream that I had, but it never was into this much detail.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So next, what happened was the examiner left the room and Betty engaged in conversation with the leader. She picked up a book with rows of strange symbols that the leader said that she could take home with her. She also asked where he came from, and he pulled down an instruction map dotted with stars, which is what you see here.
Ah.
Yeah, it's interesting. At least she got some evidence, or what seemed to be evidence. In her dream account, the man began to escort the Hills from the ship when a disagreement broke down. The leader then informed Betty that she couldn't keep the book, stating that they had decided that the other man did not want to even remember the encounter, which the other man being her husband,
Yeah.
Barney. Betty insisted that no matter what they do to her memory, one day she would recall the event. She and Barney would then taken to the car, where the leader suggested that they wait to watch the craft's departure. They did so, and then resumed their drive. So it's kind of weird because I feel like there's a lot of facts to what's going on. And
So,
now you may think that this is just some random ass drawing, but apparently it's not, because after that, people or some researchers actually said that it could possibly be I think it's the Zeta Reticuli system in in the Milky Way.
oh,
So
okay.
there's some, there's some very, overlapping in actual facts here to make this a really believable story.
Hmm.
Like the fact that the other people have actually come to, like, research it and understand it. And I think there's a really uncanny resemblance between what she drew, which is like this, to what was actually, or what, I mean, researchers have actually found. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's very, very similar. And I think the researchers have it right in saying like this looks actually very familiar. Yeah, this could be like this cluster of stars over here.
Yeah,
Another thing that
it's
was very interesting was that she actually did remember, was able
yeah,
to remember, and
it's really I don't know,
I,
like
I will say that the husband was a little bit of an asshole, chickening out
bro,
like that.
he's just weak sauce. Like, bro, I don't want to. I mean, well, dude, I mean, he didn't really say part of his story, right? Maybe he actually got probed. Like, I don't. I mean, that's the reason why. Like, when guys go to the doctors and they have to get their prostates checked, they knock them out. I think half the time because the guys don't want to know that there's something going up their butt.
What?
Yeah, dude.
What?
Do you not know what a colonoscope is?
I know what a colonoscope is, but I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. I think some guys just don't want to know that there's something going up their butt, so they just knock it out of their memory, which is basically what he did in this situation.
Weak sauce. Weak sauce.
Weak sauce.
Could have kept the book.
But yeah, honestly, if you compare the two stories that we had to you tonight, I would say there's a lot more um there's a lot more facts and in this story for sure than there was from the other one. Like the fact that there's a lot of evidence and memories and stuff that they can kind of piece together. Now, could it be that they were just, like just randomly talking shit and just saying stuff? Um, I don't know. Like again, when this time frame is really strange because this was during the period of time where there was just that boom of UFO sightings and stuff like that. I mean,
Hmm.
even with these two, this was way back in like the 1940s, and I don't think that they were that smart to be able to replicate uh like basically what they showed, this drawing of the stars and planets. I don't think they were able to do that because dude, they were just both. Oh, Barney was, well, he was employed by the U.S. Postal Service, and Betty was just a social worker. It wasn't like they weren't geniuses by a long shot. They were just some people.
So I think that definitely the second story was a lot more believable, and I feel like that had a very clear motive and objective between
Yeah.
them. The third story was also a lot more believable, but I find it very, very difficult to understand how she was able to take, like, recall her memories when her husband did not.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it could have just been, I don't know, maybe she just remembers things better.
And I would think that an alien species that would understand English and that has a test subject that says specifically, "Hey, I no matter how much time like it takes, I'm gonna remember this."
Yeah, like, it felt like a kind of a threat, but also not a
Yeah,
threat at the same time. Like,
yeah,
oh, you can do this to me. Don't know how I will remember you, and I will find you someday.
yeah. It's kind of like a thinly veiled threat, but um, and yeah, like it's weird that an alien species would take that lying down.
Yeah, but oh,
It's
I
like if
mean,
a chimp, like I keep going back to the chimp, but I think like it's a very good analogy just because it is the difference between an alien and a human, maybe even more so of a difference. But if it if I got done examining a chimp and
mhm,
it started threatening me,
mhm.
I don't think I'll take that lying down.
And that's why you're not a researcher. But
I'd be like, "Bop that chimp, teach it a lesson."
but yeah, like a lot of these stories, I think they're really interesting because I feel like they show this completely different side. Okay, either this actually really happened to these people, and in that case, that's a crazy ass story, but it's believable, or they're just really good storytellers, right? Like I don't know if if somebody told me something this story and it was so in depth, I feel like there'd be a part of me that would want to believe this actually happened.
I I don't like. Oh my gosh, that's the thing with like UFO like abductions. A lot of them don't seem very believable, or they're very made up or extravagant,
Yeah,
but without any hard evidence to back it up, like some sort of object inside the skin or something. It's it's very difficult to say otherwise.
yeah.
Uh,
I
it
mean,
could be a bunch of people trying to get famous. It could be people trying to just get wealthy or rich.
yeah. I mean, there is a story that I wanted to talk about, but I could not remember for the life of me. Um, it's basically the story of this lady who was abducted, and she claims that the aliens actually did surgery on them, and in that process, they left something in her which she thought was some kind of mind controlled chip or just some random metal
I've heard
material.
about this, yes. Quite a few more recent alien abductions have turned up with strange shapes, strange inanimate
Yeah,
objects, almost like crystalline objects inside them.
yeah. So I mean, like even in the, I think some people have gone to doctors. They did some X-rays and stuff like that, where they actually managed to find remnants of it, of like this material that they were talking about, which
Yep,
corroborates the stories really well.
yep,
So
exactly. So
it's
that's one of the more believable cases, but in
yeah.
these ones, it needs to have a little bit more hard evidence. And
And the funny thing is, okay, I mean, we kind of, oh, I
I'd
spoke
be a really
about,
bad researcher, Matt. I'd be a really bad researcher. I
I
would
mean,
just get
it is.
constantly angry at my research subjects, going like, "How dare you threaten me when I whack the chimp?"
It is what it is. But today's topic was for some, well, at least the first story kind of jumped into the whole sex thing, and I think it's really interesting that there are people in the world that claim that they have both been abducted and have had children fathered by aliens who live on a giant spaceship. Now,
Ah,
this is where
yes.
shit gets funny or weird. So on the left you have a Lunaverse, and on the right you have Bridget Nelson. They're both from the U.S. and they claim that they have, like I said, they have children fathered by aliens who live with their dads on a giant spaceship. The women believe that aliens have been harvesting their DNA to create children that combine the best of both human and alien characteristics, and claim that the conception happened either through an artificial insemination or a real sexual encounter. Former marketing executive Bridget Nelson, the one on the right, who has apparently had regular contact with her 10 alien hybrid babies, described her close encounters as out of this world. She says it was incredibly super primal, super raw, super primal sexual experience, which is what she told the Sun. There was freedom, and we were really going for it. It was the best sex I ever had, is what the video gamer designer, the one on the left, Aluna Versus, says. The 23-year-old mother to three alien babies described, yeah, how she experienced that, which is what the fuck, dude. These people are fucking tripping balls. Like this is so weird and so stupid. I
I think I
I
think
can't.
there's something to be said about like alien human hybrids. There is genuine precedence of it happening, just not like this, just not this dumb.
Dude, this next line is gonna get it. Aluna said, "All of a sudden, I'm next to this green reptilian creature, and immediately I'm so sexually turned on by looking at this being. I was very surprised. Yeah, I was very surprised. We were making love in this classroom in front of everyone. Everyone turned their attention to us. Meanwhile, a study. Oh yeah, that's what she said. That's you know, this bitch be crazy. Like these two are nuts. Like it's okay. The one line that got to me right was they both believe that the aliens have been harvesting their DNA to create children and combine the best of both human and alien characteristics. Well, the aliens kind of got the short end of the stick here because these two sound dumb as a rock. and bruh, they sound stupid as hell.
I, okay,
It's
very very quickly. There are a few real, I wouldn't say real, but historical cases of alien human hybrids. One of them, one of the very, 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 very well documented possible examples would be the ancient Egyptian pharaohs,
yeah,
because they were both literally and in the allegorical sense descendants of gods, and the gods pertain to Ra, Anubis, and that kind of thing, which are heavily in like related to a lot of aliens, a lot of ancient alien theories. So it makes sense that the pharaohs were alien
hybrids.
human hybrids
Yeah,
because they were said to have lived much longer, they were stronger, they were more intelligent, and that is why they were chosen to be the leaders of the society. Now, the inbreeding that happened with the pharaohs, very, very bad. Very, very bad.
they kind of cursed. They kind of, even if they were hybrids, and then they started inbreeding, bro, they kind of fucked themselves there. They weren't very
Yeah,
smart.
that's like, please no. Like, if you are a human hybrid, alien hybrid, please
No
breed
cousins, no
with the
sisters,
local
no mothers.
population. Do not inbreed with one another. That is always bad, no matter how superior you are. It's never going to end well.
Yeah, it's not a good, it's not a good plan for your for, I mean, that's the reason why you're here. It's a terrible plan. Don't do it. Don't ever do
You're
that.
trying to lead your people. Get local. Don't stick within the family. It's no good.
I mean, dude, even like the story of Xerxes, like a lot of people, I mean, if you don't know who Xerxes is, if you watch the 300, he's the quote unquote Persian god, right? They say that he looked, well, he looked out of this world, in the sense that he had this otherworldly just appearance to him.
Yeah,
And you could read into that whether it's maybe he just looked different from everybody else, or did he actually look like an alien? Maybe he just didn't look like everybody else out there. Now, you see these pictures of what these two people are holding. These are your quote unquote alien hybrids, right? All I can really say is one person looks like they're a better artist than the other, but they're not the best. They're no Picasso. They're, they're pretty shit at the drawings too. So I don't know what good characteristics the aliens were trying to harvest. They kind of dropped the ball on it. They could have got somebody else.
I think that alien human hybrids have a point in, I think, the greater plan. So if we look back to ancient history, alien human hybrids have always been kind of planted around to to raise humanity up a little bit
Hmm.
in certain periods of history, both in ancient Egyptians and also possibly even currently possibly the U.S. Congress. There you go. I said it already.
Like,
There's a theory right
you mean
there.
like the you mean like the reptilian species?
Yes, the reptilian species. But I don't see what the point of these hybrids are,
Hmm. I mean,
because
if you're going into that vein of conspiracy, maybe these alien hybrids were put here to control everybody, and yeah, that's kind of the end of the story, because that actually doesn't sound very bright as well.
so I've got a big theory. One of the main one of the main big UFO theories that I subscribe to is that aliens don't want to be seen around us, or seen influencing us a lot, because we are constantly being observed by other aliens. So it's kind of like a neutral zone, if you will.
Hmm.
Um, if one alien species decides to take action and influence another lesser advanced civilization, another alien species will either take like vested interest because it's within the galactic sphere of politics, or because they just don't like them.
So it's kind of like the if it's a survival of the fittest in a way.
No,
Like a
it's more
ghost.
so like just intergalactic politics in a way. So
So who the hell's our
it's a lot like
politician?
what the US is kind of doing with the Ukraine right now with Russia, that kind of thing.
Is Trump our representative?
No,
I hope not, dude, because that we'd be fucked. We'd be fucking zapped out of the sky.
I don't think we'd be fucked in the way that you would think.
Well, probably not. I mean, the aliens would probably meet Trump and be like, "This guy sounds crazy." Uh, I think the whole this is if this is the best that they could send. We're dead. We're just gonna leave them alone. They're gonna die anyway. Let them just throw them out.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but I don't think Trump is in any position to be in this conversation. But
Yeah,
again, yes. So back to the theory. Yeah. So different alien species have a vested interest in us, but they can't take direct action because it would trigger the other alien species to take more action,
right.
and will spark some sort of like, I don't know, some sort of like tension.
Intergalactic war.
Well, maybe like a bit of tension. Maybe like, there is an intergalactic UN out there that's going around going like, hey, like the lesser advanced species, you can't like, just straight up give them tech. You can't just straight up like tell them that we're around
You
because
know,
of some strange like past event.
in the very low chances that there's an alien species out there, and wants to make contact, we have the perfect guinea pig, and that would be Bill. Bill is our resident guinea pig for all things supernatural and unseen. So if there are aliens out there, UFOs trying to, probe or maybe just study a human, please come contact us at Supernatural Confessions on our Facebook page or our Discord channel, or just, fucking zapped him up there. Just take him, have him. And if they know any BOMOs or ghost brides, let us know as well.
Yes. So my first question would always be just why the probes? I mean, just why the probes?
You can ask them when they come to you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to find up there, man?
It's just shit. What do you want?
Maybe aliens don't have anuses.
Or maybe they're actually very benevolent and they're trying to like weed out like, colon cancer or something. I don't know.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Well, that this has been a honest to God, like this has been a crazy episode. A bit wild. It's honestly a bit wild. So what we're gonna do is next week. I said I was gonna pull up a poll last week, but then we kind of vetoed that idea. But next week we're gonna put out another poll to see if you guys want us to talk about aliens, or we want to talk about something else and jump back in another time. We still have a lot of topics to cover, like Atlantis. We still have like Loch Ness and stuff like that. We have not covered. We have Nazi UFOs. We have ancient aliens. We have UFO crashes and species and stuff like that.
Oh, please
So
be
there's
Nazi
a lot.
UFOs.
There's so many things that we kind of want to cover. So till then, let us know on the polls. What do you want to see and what do you want to know?
Yep.
Because people have been messaging about dragons and Mongolian death worms. So
And
that's
Anna
also gonna be
Wong
up
has asked us to talk about vampires and Eastern and Western vampires.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, what did Jill said? Damn, Bill's door at the back didn't open. I had gamma on my monitor on high to set to spot the door opening. Damn, that's a bit creepy. I mean, let's hope nothing's happening
I
with
mean,
your luck.
yeah, like
With
I've
your
been
luck,
getting
something's
weird.
happening, dude.
I've been getting weird supernatural things happening. Like no supernatural things, more like weird things happening in my house. And it seems to have calmed down because I went to Harper Villa.
Oh, you went to Hapa Villa?
Yeah. Me and a couple of friends went to Harper Villa, and
Were
I
you looking
actually
for a ghost bride?
no, I was kind of just hoping to calm down my current ghost bride if I did have one.
That's not gonna help by going to Hapa Villa. What the fuck?
I
It's the
burned one of those like
worst.
cashew sticks and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, there are other options. We are still looking for a Momo. We're gonna
Oh,
make
that
all
is
these
true. That
hashtags
is
come
true.
true,
That is
dude.
true. I don't even know if I'm a ghost bride or not, but
Yeah, there's so many creepy stuff. Anyway, so we have more to come. Actually, Wes, we might actually do Ningen someday. We've been talking about it since the start of the show. We do want to get to that at
Matt's
some
actually
point.
pretty freaked out by Ningen.
Yeah, I've never seen it until we spoke about it before. But yeah, we're gonna put up the polls. Let us know what you want to see and what you want to hear about next week.
Yep. And
Also, just
please
a quick,
vote on there.
just a tip, guys. We will be on Friday on Supernatural Confession Friday night live, so you
This
will
Friday,
probably
right?
see us. Yeah, this
Yep.
Friday you'll see us there. Okay, Bill, sign us out.
Yes. Right. Thank you very much, guys. And remember, the truth is out there.
Quick, easy, dirty. All right. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Thanks for your continuous support. Thanks for always finding us on the show. Our regulars, you know who you are. There's so many names. We have like people like Finn, Wes, Elaine, Anna, Frankie, Juan, Elaine, everybody, Orange Freak, the clerk. Thanks for always joining us.
Yes.
Until next time, which is actually this Friday, stay on the fringes.
Dankeschön.
Bye.
What did you find? You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.